Hi guys, thanks for joining me. I wanted to share with you today about how I got pregnant at 44. Um, just out and about with my husband, so I'm in the car. Um, so enjoy the scenery here. We are just parked, but anyway, so like I said, I'm 44. I had 3 children in my 20s, all perfect healthy pregnancies, nothing amiss. And then, haven't tried having children in the middle years, and now my husband and I said, "Hey, let's maybe have one more." So, we started trying, nothing really happened for the first maybe 4 months, and then, we did get pregnant in February, and that lasted 7 weeks, and we had a miscarriage, and so that was really heartbreaking and difficult. Um, so it was probably about 2 weeks later, and I was just kind of, processing things. It may have been a little bit longer than that anyway. Just processing and going, "Well, why did this happen?" And I am a woman of faith, and so, I think maybe it was the Lord speaking to me. And I thought, "Well, maybe it's something missing in my body because your body is designed to have babies, right? So maybe I'm missing something." So I started thinking I already have a very healthy diet. I eat good, lots of greens, fruits, nuts, lots of good stuff. I don't eat a ton of junk food. I Since I had been trying to get pregnant, I had been, super careful, staying away from things like soda and coffee, that kind of stuff. So I started doing research on YouTube and Google, looking just like you. And I came up with some very popular answers. And so the things that I came up with on my grocery list. So I've got two sections to this, kind of my vitamin list and then my grocery part. So for the vitamin part, I started taking DHEA. And to me, that was like one of the number one things that's mentioned. Fertility doctors often suggest this. So I'm not a doctor, so don't just go with what I'm saying. I'm just sharing my experience. You're gonna have to talk to your doctor and figure out what's gonna be right for you. But I started taking the DHEA. There is another vitamin or whatever you want to call it called DHA, and it is also highly suggested for fertility. I personally never took that one, but if I did it again, I think I would probably throw that one in there as well. Um, and then I also took CoQ10. The particular one that I took was a liquid. It came in a big jug, maybe a little bit smaller than a quart. Um, and I bought that at Costco. And it was, you just took a capful a day. So I would just take all of these things first thing in the morning. The CoQ10 tasted really good. Um, so I was probably taking about 8 pills a day plus the one capful of the CoQ10. Um, I think I was taking 2 pills of the DHEA. And so how I figured this out was when I went shopping, I figured probably I would take this for 2 or 3 months because I didn't just expect, to flip a coin and, just start taking this stuff and I'd get pregnant the next day and everything would be fine. I was like, I don't want to have another miscarriage. So I wanted to give my body enough time to absorb all this stuff in and to make the healthy changes that it needed to before, but I didn't want to quit trying. So we were still having, unprotected intercourse the whole time. But I was like, I want to give this time to work. So I was taking, I think, two of the DHEA a day. And I don't remember the dosage. I'm sorry. I should have saved all this stuff, but anyway. I'm now, I mean, what? I started taking these in April, and it's now January. So I just took everything until it ran out. I bought 2 bottles of some things, 1 bottle of other things. Just depended. I was just trying to get to at least that 60-day mark with them. And so I didn't take everything for the same amount of time. So, so I was also taking 2 wild yam every day. It's something that I've heard about for many years. I actually used to take it in my 20s. Um, and it's something that's supposed to be really good for fertility also. And then the actual yams themselves are really good. So I was trying to incorporate those part in my diet portion as well. There's a tribe of people in Nigeria that I think have the highest rate of twin births in the world. And I think they eat a lot of yams in their diet. And so that's kind of where I get that from. If it'll help you make 2 babies, it'll certainly help you make 1. That's my theory. So, do your research on it, see what you think. One of the other things that I took is maca root, and that was something that I was not able to find in a pill form. So I ended up buying this powder, and as you can see, I still have tons of that left over. This is not even 8 ounces. It's 7.83 ounces, 9.3. And so I ended up using capsules and making my own pills of that one. And I was taking 2 of those a day. And then I also just had some spirulina, I think it's called, in my cupboard. Some green powder that I had been putting in smoothies but didn't find it super tasteful. So I just started throwing that in some gel caps and taking those also just to kind of use it up. So that one, I'm gonna kind of put a disclaimer on. That one wasn't actually on my list, but I did take it just because it was in the cupboard, and I was like, anything that's in the cupboard, if it's gonna help make a healthy baby, it's going in me. So I did that. Evening primrose oil. I was taking a couple pills of that every day. I'm not, that's one that I really didn't know the history on very well. It was just on one of the suggested lists, so I started using it, and so that one just, it is what it is. And then raspberries are also highly suggested. So I bought raspberry leaf tea. The traditional meds brand is so delicious and so good. So I was taking that. I didn't take that with everything else. I would just kind of make the tea and just try to take a cup a day of that. And my husband's loading up. And then later, actually just last week, I was at Winco and they have raspberry tea there as well. And so I bought it, and then when I got home, I looked at the label, and the primary ingredient is hibiscus flowers. So I was a little disappointed, which I knew it was a cheaper price point, so I knew it wasn't probably as good of a product. But hibiscus is very recommended for pregnancy and fertility as well. So I guess it's a win-win. And then the other thing that, well, I guess that was kind of the end of the vitamin section, because those were all the things that I was able to put into pills. So then cassava is what they use to make tapioca. And so they make a flour. It's a root, kind of like a yam, and they ground it up and make it into a flour. So I was able to find that in the Bob's Red Mill in the health food section. And so for me, I was thinking, well, how am I going to make this a part of my daily, to be able to eat just a little bit of it every day to make it like a vitamin? So I came up with the idea of making it into crepes. And so that worked super well for me. I can't remember what the ratio was, but maybe 50-50 cassava flour and then regular flour. And then one of the other things on my list was flaxseed oil. And I was not able to find that in any sort of pill or anything either. I did try putting it into gel caps, and I did that successfully a couple times, but it was really messy and difficult, and you had to do it fresh. And I work all week, and so I was trying to figure out how I could make it more friendly for me to be able to just take it and go. So I decided to put that in the crepes as well. And so I just would make those up on Sunday, and then I'd put them in the fridge, and then I could just grab one out every day and throw it in my bag for my lunch or my breakfast. Um, and that was a perfect solution for me. A couple of other things that I heard were really good were cinnamon and cloves. So I would throw a little bit of that into the crepes. I would also throw that in a smoothie if I was making a smoothie. Um, yeah. So one of the other things that was on the vitamin list was fish oil, and I'm vegetarian, so I decided to skip that one. But just FYI, that was one of the things that's highly suggested. So then back to the diet section, I just started trying to eat more eggs and avocado. Those were two major things for me because they have so many vitamins and things you that a growing baby needs, or that you need to make a baby. So those were two very key things that I used to also in my diet. And berries. I was buying lots of berries. I like berries anyway, but I tend to avoid them sometimes because of the price point. But I said, this is important. This is what my body needs. So we're going to do this. And so I just started buying lots of raspberries and strawberries, and I was eating those all the time. Um, Also, pineapple. I did not eat a lot of pineapple, but I have since then heard pineapple should also have been on my list. Um, I will highly suggest. I was doing some research trying to find a video that I had seen before because I wanted to link it for you, but I couldn't find it. So I found this other one though for a channel called Cooking with CLAUDY. And her video is how I got pregnant after years of infertility. And she makes a smoothie using the core of the pineapple along with the maca root powder and some other stuff. And a bunch of people in there commented that that totally worked for them. So I highly suggest that video. And also DSFAVORS has a video very similar to this one, where she shares the vitamins and things that she took to get pregnant in her 40s. Highly suggest that video. It was very good as well. So here's the rest of the story. So after taking this for about 3 months, um, one thing that I did do is I started journaling my period. Um, because I've always kept track of it, but now that I had noticed in the last couple years, basically the last 2 years, that my period was kind of waning and wasn't as rich as it used to be. And so I started documenting each day kind of what it looked like. And so I was comparing, and my period went from starting heavy and ending light, and it started being lighter at the beginning and heavier at the end. And it started to regain some of that more youthful color that it used to have. And so anyway, so to me, I was only 3 months of periods before I was pregnant again. But just seeing that little bit, I was like, wow, I think this is really doing something. Oh, and one other thing that I did was avocado tea. I had come across a video. You can look this up. You take a seed from an avocado and you boil it and you drink that liquid. And you're only supposed to do this during your pregnant or during your period. And so I did that several times. I tried to do it at least twice during each period for those 3 months. And um, I don't know if it worked or not, but I'm pregnant. So somewhere between all these things that I've done, something worked. And I need to put a disclaimer on all of that because when before I started any of this, losing this baby, before I just said, well, God, maybe that's it. Maybe you're like, no, Alicia, you're good. You don't need any more. Um, just, enjoy life. And I'm like, I'm okay with that, God, if that's what you're saying. But I'm like, but if this is just, my body needing some more vitamins or whatever, then I want to do that and help nature, uh anyway, we all get the concept, you need to help things along in the Lord's way, in the Lord's timing. So on that note, I did this for 3 months and you know, wasn't pregnant yet. And I was thinking, well, maybe this is the Lord, making sure that I get that time for my body to be strong and ready. But then I was like, okay, well, now it's been 3 months and I'm 44 and a half years old. And how much more time do I have? Every day was like tick, tick, tick. And so I had this thought and I had been thinking this for a while and I had been holding back on it because I felt like it was pushing it too far to where it was my will, not thine be done. And then one day God spoke to me and he said, no, Alicia, you're okay. So, I kind of, I don't want to be too TMI, but I guess this whole subject is TMI, a little bit. So my normal routine was when we had intercourse, I would just get up and go get cleaned up and everything. And God told me, Alicia, stay in bed for 10 minutes and prop your butt up. And I was like, just feeling like that was pushing my will. And I'll tell you, I only did that a couple of times. That was in this third month, and we were pregnant that month that I did that. So I don't know if that made any difference. I just feel like everything just kind of worked together in God's timing, because really, it was all really just perfect timing in our life for how everything worked out. So anyway, that's everything I've got to say about this part of the journey. Like I said, we're 28 weeks pregnant now. Just praising the Lord for this little boy and looking forward to him being born. So if you are struggling or know somebody who's struggling with this, and I just hope that this information can help. That's why I'm putting it out there. I know there's lots of theories and remedies out there, but just trust in God and follow his ways, and he will provide. So thanks, guys.